Even in fiction, the small group dynamic does work. Take V for Vendetta, for example. A dystopian, corrupt government had taken over what was once the UK, and they seemed unstoppable. Then V, a masked avenger who was once wronged by the government, decides to overthrow said government. While his goal was a lofty one, the principle is still the same. He then brings in a woman named Evie Hammond, who already agrees with his beliefs, and she eventually helps him band the entire country together in order to topple the government. While this story is fiction, though based off of the gunpowder plot, it does serve as a great example of an anomaly helping to develop and reform the nation. V received no outside help from organizations or other governments. He had limited resources, having to tap into the major TV network to get his message across, but V knew the problems plaguing the country and sought out to fix them. He was made out to be a vigilante, apparently killing major officials because of their ranks. However, he was doing it because of the wrongdoing they had inflicted on him and countless others in the past. V's actions did cause conflict, but it did set up the nation for peace and more freedom. The lesson we can learn from small groups and V for Vendetta is that no matter how much outside forces say they can help, it is ultimately up to the people on the inside to decide to develop, because they know what is best for them. Obviously, this method would occur in a perfect world, where countries were not so entangled. But if outside states limited their influence somewhat to allow for more organic development in sectors needing development, perhaps some real progress will be made. In Development as Freedom, Sen says that as more freedoms are made available in developing nations, more development will occur. His forms of freedom include basic human needs, as well as certain values such as political liberties, civil rights, and cultural identities. I propose that only the citizens in a certain country know exactly what freedoms they need. Outside influences may make things worse by pushing what they think is best on the developing nation. It could cause another Iraq if they are not careful. Bill Easterly has something right in that he supports the efforts of searchers and using a bottom-up approach in development. However, his searchers are NGOs that do work on the ground, and while many NGOs are helpful, they could be corrupt if they are not audited or watched carefully, especially if their funding comes from private donors. Take Wyclef Jean's NGO Yele Haiti. Most of the donations came from private donors, and despite providing disaster relief in Haiti, Wyclef Jean took money from the organization to fund personal appearances. On top of this, the NGO gave money to companies owned by the NGO's board of directors. Even though many NGOs do achieve success, the threat of corruption and mismanaged funds can get in the way of achieving sustainable development.